thinking about the way we used to be. I looked at our old photos and spent time with friends who had known us from the beginning. I needed to believe that I hadn't imagined everything, that I was holding on for something real. When we finished high school, Simon went to Northwestern and I stayed at home in Waitsfield and went to UVM. Simon and I didn't think the long-distance thing would be a problem for us. We were solid. And the first year was okay. We came home a lot and we FaceTimed every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, and we emailed. My friend Allie told me that it couldn't last. She said Simon was too good-looking, plus his parents were loaded. He'd meet 100 girls who wanted him. 100 girls who were more sophisticated, more experienced, and more exciting than the girl next door. Allie can be a bitch like that. I didn't want Simon to dump me, but I'm the kind of person who likes to prepare for the worst, so I put a lot of mental energy into getting ready for the inevitable. I studied hard, and tried to make new friends, and went climbing pretty much every weekend, and I kept waiting for the axe to fall. But instead of dumping me, Simon just seemed to get more intense. Instead of calling me a couple of times a day, he started calling 4 or 5 times. Sometimes he wanted me to carry him around in my pocket, which meant FaceTiming him and then muting my phone and taking him with me to lectures, or just propping the phone beside me on my desk while I was studying. Simon came home every other weekend, and he wanted to pay so that I could fly out to Illinois to see him too. But I couldn't do that. I had to work in my mom's inn on the weekends. Also, taking his money and spending it like it was mine would have felt weird. He didn't understand. He was really angry and really upset. Looking back, I can see that was when our relationship started to change. After I said no to coming to Illinois, Simon had a permanent attitude. Like he had the moral high ground. Like he was the perfect boyfriend and I was the bad, unreliable girlfriend. He made jokes about it, but I could see that behind the jokes his feelings were hurt. So I did everything I could to reassure him. Nothing seemed to be enough. He was rougher with me, in bed and out of it. He would grip my shoulders or hips so hard that I had bruises, purple finger marks on my skin. He bit me a few times. It really hurt, but I didn't tell him to stop. This is going to sound insane, but I was worried about embarrassing him. I figured that he thought it was sexy or something. It so wasn't. And because everything was weird between us, I was afraid that if I told him I hated the biting, that would hurt his feelings too. I told myself that Simon was just going through an insecure stage, that I knew the real him, and that we'd get back there again if I could just make him understand how much I loved him. I was stupid. But then I was a lobster in a pot. The water warmed up so gradually that I didn't realize I was boiling until it was too late. Simon came home for the October vacation during our sophomore year. He'd wanted to go to Hawaii with friends, and I had to stay home to work, so he came home too. But he was really angry about it. Nothing I did seemed to make him happy until I finally agreed to blow off work at my mom's inn and take off for the whole week with him. I called my mom, and of course she was upset and angry, but Simon seemed to finally be himself again, and the relief of that was so intense. I hadn't realized how much I was stressing about us until I thought I could stop. Simon's parents had just bought a new house near Stowe. It came with 400 acres, a small lake, unmarked trails, and climbing routes. He wanted us to go there, just the 2 of us, to really focus on our relationship. So we went. We hiked and climbed and walked and talked, and things really weren't any better. I felt like we were faking things, pretending to be close, but not really. I wanted to talk to him about the bruises and the hurting, but every time I tried, my throat closed up. On Friday, Simon wanted to go climbing again. My body was complaining. My fingers were sore, and my right shoulder was hot. I felt like I needed a rest day, but I said yes anyway. "Let's climb that crag we saw on Wednesday," Simon said. We were eating breakfast. He reached over and smoothed my hair back, tucking it behind my ear. He cupped his hand around the back of my neck. His hand was warm and dry and gentle. For some reason, I wanted to cry. "Sure," I said. "That looked good." We ate, we dressed, and we hiked out. It was a short hike.